This is Curtis from Aceberhead Studios, kicking off the 2021 NFL season. First place I'm going to go is Miami Dolphins. My heart when it comes to football. We're going to go over early assessment of the Miami Dolphins offensive line. You know, is Howard staying? Is he going? Is Tua a bust? Is he going to redeem? These are the big storylines for most people. For me, yeah, they're big. They're big. But the third most important and maybe the second most important is what's this offensive line doing? So we're going to do an early assessment, still real early, some really good signs, some little shaky signs. But overall, I think we're headed in the right direction. I think. We'll see. All right, so I say over and over and over again, NFL, it's all about the offensive line. The offensive line makes the NFL world go round, round, and round. 2019, Dolphins, they kept 9 offensive linemen. 2020, Dolphins kept 9 offensive linemen. All right, so you figure this year, they're going to keep 9 offensive linemen. But when you look at who's on the roster, it looks like there could be some surprise additions and some surprise subtractions. All right, so DJ Fluker, I was really excited when they drafted him. Starting right tackle for the Ravens, playoff team, huge guy, small little pea head with giant, haystack body. It's the kind of guy you want on your team, especially on this Dolphins team inside. I was very, very excited. Day one, meniscus tear, on the way out, gone, cut, I think today or yesterday or something. He was an 11th overall pick at one point. This guy he didn't play up to that level. But as a tackle, he was solid. And as a guard, I was really looking for him to make some real space for the Dolphins running backs. But he's gone. But one thing I didn't realize, they had signed Jermaine Illuminor. I really didn't know too much about. And I didn't really pay attention until Fluker got cut. But when you look at him, he's only 26 years old. In a combine, he benched 34 reps, which means the kid's super strong, and he's gigantic. He's 6'4", 335. So he's pretty much a equivalent of Fluker. And in some regards, I think he's actually better because he had a better season last year than Fluker. Only problem is he only lasted till week 6. Ankle injury sent him on IR. But, he's a 68 PFF grade. And he had a very nice 70.3 pass blocking PFF grade. Ranked overall 47th out of 79 tackles. Pretty good. And, he's moving inside for us because he gained about 10 pounds. So he's not playing tackle. He's sliding inside. So at the very least, he fills in Fluker's spot and he's excellent depth. So I really like the signing. I thought that was a really good signing. And so that helped me get over the Fluker loss because I'm like, we're cursed, man. We can't get an offensive line. But then it was like the following day, they put out the new list of starters. And there was some surprises that were both promising and interesting. We know Odell Jackson starting a left tackle, and then Eichenberg at left guard. That was a shock. I was like, what? That's interesting. I like that. I thought they were going to try to force him into that right tackle spot. I was a little concerned. He was a little small, like Jesse Davis. But at that left guard spot, man, I really like the move. Because it's exactly what they did with Tunsil. Taking a guy, who maybe he's a questionable tackle and moving him into the guard spot to let him build up the physicality, get used to the NFL physicality, cover him up with the center and the tackle, allow him to get his feet wet, let him to develop. Plus he does have the ability. I'm sure he's cross-training to tackle. So I thought that was a really good move. I like that because that left guard spot, those guard spots are premier positions now. You can see what happened to Joe Burrow last year with that missed block that took out his knee. The pressure in the interior pressure now is the premier pressure. So I really liked him at that. And then the second surprise was Dieter at center. And I've been wondering, is that third round pick going to be a bust? He came from a school that's basically an offensive line factory. Last year, spot play, looked okay, going into year 3, but he's been staying at that spot. And so I was very excited about that. Then Hunt officially moving to right guard, which I think this kid's going to be an outright stud. Because he had some struggles early, but later in the season really blossomed as a tackle. Some warts, but at guard, this kid's going to be a beast. And then Davis at right tackle, which I'm a big Davis fan, so I like. So this front here that they opened up with was a little bit surprising, but it felt stable. It felt like it was a good combination. And so far, the first couple of days of camp, offense was lighting it up. No pads, no hitting, But still. So, as soon as I saw that starting lineup, I was wondering, is this an experiment? Are they just like, oh, man, let's see if Dieter makes it. Let's see if Eichenberg makes it. Or is it the anticipation? They expected this line to make it. They anticipated these guys to be the starters. Now, we're in day 6, and these guys have been the entrenched starters. Things could change. They put pads on today. It wasn't all like rainbows and unicorns and sunflowers. There was a lot of things that came up that maybe, all right, we got to get ourselves together. But still, this looks like this is what they're going for week 1, or they're hoping for. And so far, it's panning out. So I'm very happy with that. But when you look at the list of players and you realize they're going to keep 9, there's going to be some surprise cuts, and there's going to be surprise keepers. So let's go over the list, and you're going to see there's like 3 players that will be not sure locks, like 3 positions I've been not sure locks, but there's about 4 or 5 players vying for that spot, and one's a surprise. Now, Michael Dieter, 6'6", 315. He's up 5 pounds, which I like. He only had 23 reps last year, but when you look at his body of work from when he was drafted in 2019, he's been weak. There's no other way to say it. Weak. Run blocking is terrible. No strength at the point of contact. But if Michael Dieter, he played tackle, he played guard, he played center. But what he was most noted for, in a way, he'd become pretty famous on the internet, on YouTube, was for eating McDonald's like 3 or 4 days a week or something. He loved McDonald's. He was like a McDonald's freak. But that compromises the development of your muscles. And so I'm wondering if it's finally his late development of physical man strength maybe is coming into play here. With that extra 5 pounds, maybe he's taken that next step. He's finally grown, and maybe he's gotten rid of that McDonald's lifestyle. But, the reality is at center, you want your center to pass block. You want your center to snap, and you want your center to find the mic. If they can't run block, that's fine. You'll bring the right guard or the left guard. You'll help them out. So Dieter looks at this early stage to be a guy who's going to turn the corner. We'll see. I really have belief in him because he was a smart guy, smart player, and he showed enough in the pass blocking that if he just got a little more strength, you could feel like he'd make it. So he's a lock. Matt Skura, 6'3", 310, 49.1 PFF grade with the Ravens, snapping issues. He's not starting. I don't think he was brought here to be the starter. I think he was brought here to be the backup, the veteran backup, and to help Dieter get himself together, to help be another asset for Dieter to finally find his niche and make it successful. Now, Skura is going to battle with Cameron Thomas, 6'4", 300. I don't really know much about Tom. There's really not much to see. I haven't seen any film. But I got to believe that Skura is going to beat him out just on his veteran presence. What he brings to the table. He's been, he was on a playoff team. He's seen a lot. So I got to figure that Dieter and Skura are the first 2 that would leave 7 spots remaining. Then you go to guard, Robert Hunt, lock. That's number 3. 6'6", big line. Everyone's like 6'6" on this line. Big offensive line. 6'6", and he went from 336 and he dropped weight to 227. And it's a funny thing. I remember one of the videos I did previously, one of the commenters made this very funny. He's like, oh yeah, Robert Hunt, the guy with calves like my 9-year-old daughter. And it's funny, when you look at Robert Hunt, he's gigantic. But he's got these little thin calves. And, if you know that thin calves, they kind of inhibit you athletically a little bit. So I think that's one of the reasons why his optimal position isn't tackle. But he's sliding in at right guard, and I think it's very good. But even with those thin calves, he had a pretty good year last year. Now, if you take his whole season, it wasn't so hot. But when you watch it from like week 12 to the end, you really saw a sharp arc in his play. Now, there was misplays. There was missed opportunities. Sometimes he went, instead of going inside out on his pass block, he'd go outside in. And there was big issues, especially in week 17 against the Bills. He did it twice. So there was some mental lapses. But from the physical standpoint, he really matched up well. And I think inside, it's going to be exceptional. And PFF, I had him ranked pretty high those last couple of weeks. 5th best tackle out of 37. So for Hunt and his small calves, as a rookie, to get that kind of grading over the final part of the season, I think that's a really, really good. So now you have 3 locks, 6 players left. And that's when we get to a very surprising Solomon Kindley. He came in 6 foot. He's 6'4", but he came in 335, which is what he was last year. And some people, like a couple reporters are reporting, it looked like he was like, a hamburger away from 350. And he's been buried on 3rd team depth chart. That's the doghouse. For a former starter to be the 3rd team, that's terrible. Terrible. Last year he was ranked 70th out of 80 possible guards. And he had trouble run blocking. He got injured. Still, I loved his physical play, but he had these short arms. So there's issues there. And it doesn't feel, I would not put him as a lock. I would not be surprised to see him cut. Because when you go over the list of the players, he's really not in a good spot because of Illuminor. Now, like I said, Illuminor is a Patriot guy. He's experienced. He's big. He's got versatility. He can play tackle if you had to put him there. He's got the experience. Kindley's just pinned in that position. He's pinned in guard. So you're going to have Robert Hunt, and then we'll get to that. Jesse Davis also battling for guard. He could play that position too. You got Liam Eckenberg and Illuminor. So it's really not looking good for Kindley. He could be a surprise cut. But anyway, we'll keep going. Jesse Davis, tackle/guard. Looks like he's going to be a tackle, but he can move into guard. And Davis, exact opposite of Kindley. If you track, the Miami Dolphins website, you'll see that you can watch their weights. And I think they're pretty accurate. Davis was at 325 last year. He was at 310 at one point. And they might have been looking at him to be that left guard spot until they drafted Eichenberg. And they decided to put him there. And he bolstered back up to 318 pounds. So he went from 325 to 310 back to 318. Now, some people don't like Davis. Some people think he should be just a backup swing guy. And I get it. He's got some flaws to his game. But he's consistent. He's a veteran. He played over 1,000 snaps. He was the most consistent Dolphin player over the last 3 or 4 years on the offensive line. And yeah, he struggles. He's got a slowish kick. Sometimes that he gets him beat by speed rushers, smaller guys. They get underneath him, get leverage. They do the spin on him. He struggles with that at times. And I don't like the way he finishes his run blocks. It's like he's too nice. He doesn't drive. He just gets the hands in and lets go. He doesn't drive and finish. But the dropping of that weight could help him with his slowish kick step, and it could help him with the speed players. It'll be interesting to see. Still at a 62.6 PFF grade, 57th out of 79 players. That's not great, but he still hasn't hit his prime. I still believe in Jesse Davis because he has the tools. The guy is farm boy strong. He's 6'6", shows an amazing intelligence to play all the positions. This could be the year for him. I really am hoping. And we'll see. But he's a lock. So now you're on your 4th lock. Illuminor, I'm going to say again, he went up to 345. I think I might have mentioned that. So he's going to be playing guard. He's not. I won't put him as a lock. But Eichenberg, who's the other guard, he's a lock. 6'5", 310. He's up 8 pounds. And I really like him at that left guard spot because you know that he's going to be able to pass block. And you know that they might not be good run blockers, but this offense is going to be a space offense. This is not teacup football time. I think if they're going to teacup football time, they're going to go to the right behind Hunt if they've got to. But this is going to be a space game team. And you just want to be able to pass block. You want to be able to keep the arms down of the defenders so that, Tua is not getting a ball block. And I think Eichenberg and Jackson can do that. So that's a lock. So you're at 5 now. And then you have Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson had a subpar. If you want to be honest, some people get upset. But last year he had a subpar season, slightly below average. But you have to remember, I keep forgetting this, and a lot of fans need to remember this. He's 20 years old. He's a boy. The kid's a boy. He's just out of being a teen, and he's playing with men, grown-ups, with man strength. He's now 21, and I expect him to take a small step forward. It's all about strength with him. When you watch his game, he's got athleticism. He's able to deal with the speed rushers. He has some mental lapses, which you're going to expect. He was raw. We all knew that. But the strength thing, really, it gets him in his run blocking, and he gets bull rushed a lot. That's the only two main problems he had. But it all revolves around strength. And so as this kid gets stronger, and he's going to get stronger, and he's 6'5", 325. That's what he was last year. So, how much of that body fat just is now becoming muscle. So when this guy finally develops strength along with that athleticism, you're going to see him take off. So I think that we can expect to see an average season, which is not bad. It took Tunsil. Remember, Tunsil wasn't really – he had that rookie season at guard, and people want to say, the unicorn. He really wasn't good. If you go back and watch the tape, he wasn't good as a left guard. And then his next year at tackle was like, okay, there's some injuries, some mistakes. But it was that third year when he really started shining, okay? And that's what we have to expect for Jackson. So we're going to be looking towards next year. But I like so that's 6. That's 6 locks. So you have 3 spots left. You have Kinley, Illuminor, Dervil Neto, the Brazilian guy who was on a special exempt. He's been developed into a guard, and he's been locked in on special teams. And he's a giant. He's got man strength now at 28 years old. He's been developed for a couple of years. And as I said, if he's locked into special teams, he's probably locked onto the roster. I mean, things can change, but they're going to keep Neto over Kinley. They're going to definitely do that. Definitely. And then Illuminor, they're probably going to keep over Kinley too because he can play. So now you're looking at 8 spots almost locked up. So Kinley will be battling with Warnell Coleman, rookie, 6'6", 313, playing right tackle. Or Adam Pankey, who the Dolphins have some real love for. They've been sticking with him for years. 6'5", 313, 27 years old. It don't look good for Kinley. I mean, things can change. Things can change. They put the pads on today, and that high-flying offense came down to earth quite a bit. Adam Butler was saying, we had their number today, something to that effect. And McKinney was just getting through open holes, taking the quarterback, taking the running back behind the line of scrimmage. They had 3 attempts on rushing plays on the second, on a 2-yard line, got stuffed 3 times. So there was this new starting line was exposed a bit. So there's opportunities for other guys to step in. So anything's possible. It's still really early, But so far, I do feel offensive line's pointing in the right direction. And I do feel Solomon Kinley could be a surprise cut. But overall, it's pretty good. I feel a little confident. I'd say 40, 60. But what do you think? I want to hear your comments. Some of you guys probably actually went to the practices, so I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. So anyway, that's where we're at. The third or second biggest story looks to be pretty good. Tua is looking good. Howard's hasn't played. It's not looking so good, but it could be. Who knows? But overall, this offensive line, to me, this offensive line makes it. It's going to help Tua. So that second and third biggest story of the season are kind of like interlocked. Anyway, this is Curtis at Eastbred Studios. 2021 season is a big one for us. Big one. And this offensive line is going to play a massive part in whether we're going to be enjoying the season or not. So please, if you stay to the end, like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, comment. I really want to hear your thoughts. And go Phins. This is Curtis. Be well. Thank you.